it's for, but I will check on that later. Alrighty, so we will locate the screws we need for this and these parts here, and we'll get the center diff mounted. Be right back. Okay, take the chassis. Got your front and your rear. This being the front, rear. And take our plate, number 1. This is your motor mount. That's going to sit right like that. So we need to I need to locate the bag with the 4x10 screws. Now this is an aluminum piece. We're going to actually take and put a little Loctite on these screws, just for that reason. On my finger there, but I'll be alright. Anytime you're building on this stuff and you're going metal to metal or screw into metal, I always recommend Loctite on the screws. Because otherwise what happens, you're out racing around on the track, next thing you know, you come back in and you're missing a screw because it rattled out and you didn't Loctite it. So I'll put these in with a little Loctite. And you'll see the motor mount's actually held in with 4 screws. Got the 2 4x10s there, and I got some smaller ones off to the side here. I'm going to hold off on those for right now. We're going to take and cap up my bottle of Loctite here, so I won't spill that. Bumper out of the way. Okay, so now what we can do is take the diff unit, diff assembly. We can actually slide that in. Loosen up our mount here a minute. Okay, they've got that sitting in where it needs to be sitting. I'll take the bottom half of the rear support, which these are plastic. Figure out which one is which here. Oops, make sure we're right. Okay, that's how it's supposed to sit. Now we do have a couple of blocks here, and I'm thinking this is where they come in to play. I'm not really sure why they did this, but it appears we need to put one of these blocks underneath. I've actually got 2 of them here, but I'm not seeing where we need both of them. I'm only seeing one really needed. So that, I'm assuming, is going to go right like that. Which means then that we have to use 2 4x20 screws instead of the 4x10s to get up and through that block into the mount. This is all plastic, so no Loctite's needed here. We're going to flip this around here, line up our holes. A little tough to do here. I got both hands wrapped around myself. Okay, get that first one started. Grab the second one. Line up our hole and run that one through. At the same time holding everything in place. There we go. As I said, these are going into plastic, so you don't need any Loctite on them. Get these screwed in tight. Okay. There. There's your center diff supported. Alright, this right now is just sitting on here. We'll have screws coming down from the top that's going to basically hold that all together with the upper brace like so. And then this piece here, this is your speed controller bracket. Now originally they lay them down like this. Problem is the Monster Max, I'm sorry, is a wide speed control. Its stance is so wide it actually hits the battery packs if you leave that like that. So what we need to do is, you'll notice that it doesn't quite line up with the holes this way. You'll see under here, let me get this off here so it doesn't fall. But what we're going to do, knocking everything off that I don't want off. Okay. That's going to sit like that, but you'll notice that the holes no longer line up when you flip this over. We're going to flip it over to get that speed controller up and away from the batteries so it sits better. Makes it easier to get the batteries out too. But you'll notice we're going to have to notch the bottom of the plate so that it does drop down and clear the output shaft coming out of the diff there. So we are going to take and fire up the Dremel and do a little cutting. We'll get this notched out to where it needs to be. Easiest way to do that is going to be to take this piece off here. You can actually line your holes up, because we're going to have to screw this on before we do put it on. But you can line your holes up like so, flip it around the back side here, and actually see how much we're going to have to cut off. And what I'm going to do is just take my X-Acto knife and carefully go along this and scratch it. Give it a nice easy mark. We'll cut that off, notch it, then we'll be able to flip that around. Okay, we've got our diff mounted now. We've got our speed controller tray flipped over and modified to fit over the diff output shaft, so we're good there. Basically the next thing we have to do is take and re-drill that hole over here. And there's actually a support that goes up and will touch here. Easiest way I've found to do it, and I did this on my buggy, was to actually go through with a mark from that hole straight through, drill it, and be done. Generally the easiest way to do it is just to take something that fits the hole relatively tight, give it a little mark like that. We're just going to pop that off of there, and should be able to see where my mark is there. Should put us pretty close. So I will shut this off, we'll go drill that hole, and we'll get this thing mounted back up. Okay, we've got our hole re-drilled for the back post that's going to support that, but now you'll notice, we did flip this around. You'll notice our support post is too short. Two ways we can do this. We can add a spacer and go with a longer screw down through to the top of this, or we can actually make a new one of these to the correct length, which I'm going to take a look at a box of stuff I got here and we'll probably go that route. We'll be right back. Okay, digging through my vast collection of crawler parts, I was able to come up with this little threaded bad boy.